Greetings, inhabitants of the Grove, and welcome back to this Let's Play series of Town to City. In the last episode, we started a brand new town, and we got to grips with the basics of the game. Today, we'll be continuing on, and we're going to be expanding the town, adding more businesses, adding more neighbourhoods so we can have more families move in, and if we're really lucky, we might even see our dwelling upgrade in size. But we'll have to wait and see. So here is how we left off in the last episode. We had a really nice ocean view here for these 4 houses, and the very beginnings of our little food market. I think we have chicken, fish, and cheese. So depending on how well we do with research today, in fact, we already have enough for both. We can add a fruit stall and a vegetable stall. I think we'll go ahead and do that first. And then we will look at adding in some more housing and see how close we can get to upgrading our dwelling to the next size village. I'm going to go ahead and research both the fruit stall and the vegetable stall. We may be shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit here in terms of how many people can work the stalls, but I'm going to place them anyway because, as I said in the last episode, there's really no consequences to how many businesses you put down, and if you don't have the amount of labourers that you need to run them, there's no consequences. There's no the only real consequence is negative happiness, but you don't get negative happiness from not having enough workers. So really, they just lay empty until we fill them. Now we can actually add in a couple of these people already into these houses by the station, and gonna have to add some lighting for this family. They want to be surrounded by decorations from the light source category. As you can see over here, our only 2 houses available don't have any lighting, really, other than this one on the end. So what I might do is briefly hold fire, and we're going to add another small neighbourhood. And I think it'll be nice to have a small group of houses around this patch of water. I'm going to put our brush down to 4. We're going to peel off this path here, because we can have a nice little green space here with a couple of benches for people to sit on. I'm going to sort of just add a curve around the whole lake. I think that's nice. Then we can start adding in some houses here. And what these houses are going to have is a lot of light. So it's going to be... I've kind of tried to place them slightly away from the rest of the town, because I think the neighbours would be pretty peeved if they were exposed to all this light. What I might do is put some trees here to try and block out the light once we've built the houses. But first, we're going to start adding these around the pond, and we're sort of just going to place them almost haphazardly, really. And then we're going to make some nice gardens in all of them. I kind of like that. I kind of like this as a small, almost like a cul-de-sac. We need to add slightly smaller pathways to the houses. And that one there. Ooh, that went a bit wonky. That's okay. Nothing wrong with a bit of wonkiness. Houses in real life are by no means perfect. So why should these be? First thing I'm going to do is start adding lots of light to these houses. If you remember in the last episode, we unlocked the ability to put ground decorations on houses. So we're going to really utilize that with this house. And it might seem a bit wild, especially at night when you see it lit up, but they're buying the house, so whatever they want goes, really. We're even going to put some street lights amongst these houses. This is going to be a really well lit neighborhood, and we're going to save it as our neighborhood for people that want bright houses. I am going to give them all some kind of garden. I think we'll add fence from this house all the way up here. And this is going to form this house's garden. This one is going to have this garden. This one is going to have garden here. And this one will sort of have its garden adjacent here. We'll kind of make the fence slightly random shaped, just for fun. And we want another fence here, just to establish the land border for this house. There we go. And within the house, we're going to have, I think they would have a little bench here that they could look out onto the lake. And let's try and, if we can, nestle it amongst some different shaped trees, perhaps. We'll put a couple of nice bushes by the bench. I think that's fine. And while we're here, we can move in this family. Hopefully we'll have 20%. Only 15%, even though it has all of the lights on it. Okay, not a problem. We're going to add lights to this house as well. It's going to be a bit overboard. But now you can see we have 20%. Well, we actually have 20%, 20%, and 19%. So I'm going to go back to my original plan and put them in here. Lovely stuff. And then we're going to continue with garden fences here. We just want to... I think this one's going to have more of just an open path. And I wish I had put the lampposts more on the street as they would be in real life. We can continue the fence by clicking plus on that one. That fence ends there. We just need a small fence going from this house to this house. And what I'm actually going to do is demolish that point and add a half point here, so they can actually get into their garden. Then we have this house, which again is going to have entry to the garden on the left side of the property. And they're going to use this house as the boundary. Ooh, it's kind of hard to place that one. And then actually, we're just going to continue fence down here a bit. There's their garden. They've got a substantially larger garden than everyone there. And then quickly move that lamppost, and we'll add our final garden alongside this house. Whoops. We should have done... I should have clicked once more. Finish that fence there. And a second fence coming out this way. They're going to have a really big garden. There's a prime real estate, this house. You have a prime view of the lake. And a huge garden. So again, we're going to have... I think we'll have a couple of benches in this garden. Like so, and maybe even a well in the back. I think that would be a nice addition. Then just a selection of small trees. Cover up a bit of the gap. And then similarly, we're going to throw some benches down around the pond that people can sit down and have a rest at. You can see somebody's already walking along here. Elena Gilbert. An unemployed toddler. That's good. That's good that they haven't started employing toddlers. Oh, and I forgot we had this little light in the lake here. I think that would be good to leave that, and we'll put a second one here. And then as the sun goes down, we'll come back and see just how lit up this place is. In fact, the lights are coming on now. That's good timing. That's very good timing. I'm gonna put a few flower decorations in these houses too, just to spruce them up a bit. Give a bit of extra decoration point factor. This one's going to be really flower full. I have a hanging basket or two, and even a couple of pots. They really enjoy their top floor flower balcony. I'd like to put a big tree here. In fact, we need to put a couple of trees in amongst here, just to block out that. Oh, I meant to randomize them. Never mind. We can quickly redo what we were doing. There we go. That blocks out most of the light here. It's actually not too bright. It's mainly these two houses that are quite bright. Let's put some light here too. This is going to be the brightest street in the village. Good. One more here. And then I think we can get away with some bushes here. Maybe some smaller ones. And actually, there's some really nice things we can do with the lake. But not yet. We need to unlock the next batch of decorations, which I don't think... They might be under flower and plant decorations. Let's see. Ah, yes. Excellent. Now we can start placing reeds along the shoreline, which I think look fantastic. And you can even do something like this, where in the center of the lake, you're going to have quite a large island of reeds. Like so. And then, just to give it a bit of shape, you can select the smaller reeds and start filling in some of the gaps. Maybe make them come out a little bit this way, and be along here. Like so, and then maybe even dot a few more around like this, and then suddenly have a pond that's not so boring to look at. And we'll put a few more on the shoreline too, because I think reeds slowly going up onto the path look really nice. Perfect. They have a really nice nature spot there. Let's put some around this bench too. Really nice. And remember, this is only the really basic decorations. There's a lot more to come. You can see here there's loads and loads of decorations to play with. And we've actually unlocked some other nice decorations here. We now have sunflowers that I think maybe we'll plant in this garden over here. We're going to have just a small group of sunflowers growing over here. And maybe even a table where they like to arrange their sunflowers. This is the house that loves flowers, after all. We can actually have bushes of sunflowers growing in amongst these places too. Like it. And then a couple of small random trees. Fill up the rest of that. And what else have we unlocked? We can have these potted plant decorations. We can pop in there. And I think I'm going to leave this completely bare. Because that family has only just moved in, so they haven't done any work to the garden yet. That's what we're going to say. What we can do now is start adding in some more of our inhabitants. So these guys want somewhere with a lot of nature decorations around. Luckily, we've already made these houses over here that give us the maximum plus 20% to happiness as soon as they move in. Then we have another family here that don't mind where they live, so I'm going to put them in the fourth one over there. And now we suddenly have 7 workers to play with. We can pop another labourer in the warehouse. We can get somebody on the vegetable stall finally. So now everyone is pretty happy with the food they have. We have a plus 10% to happiness for food so far. One thing we are quite low on, which we will try and address a little bit now, is our work decoration. So this is decorations around any of the businesses. And you can see our market is quite bare. But we're going to fix that. We're going to put some flower patches in some of the spaces, because I think it's gonna brighten up the place. And we can even add a couple of single flowers as well, like so. Just sort of dot them around wherever you want, really. Like I said in the last episode, we're basically playing Bob Ross the game. There's no right or wrong. That's not actually done anything to our work decoration, but that's okay because I like how it looks. I wonder if we can get some potted plants in amongst the workers' different stalls here. Maybe a flowery bush as well. Flowery bush there and a couple in here. Really starting to fill out those gaps now, which is good. Maybe this stall has some potted trees they're trying to sell alongside the other food stall. And I think we'll fit a couple of trees there. It's nice. And we've got work decoration up to 5%. The percentage for work decoration is a lot harder to increase, I've noticed, than home decorations or food or other needs or even traits. So don't be discouraged if your work decoration is quite low. You really have to add lots of decorations in. One other thing we can do as well is you can add single flowers on top of the roof and along the side, and they become little potted plants or hanging flowers. And I think you can do it for the big one too. Yeah, you can have larger ones, you can turn them into hanging baskets, or have like a larger pot on the roof perhaps. And I think, yep, you can also add lanterns, so we can brighten up the market. That might help. I think most stalls would have a little bit of light, especially if they want to sell things at night. And a couple more pots to go on top of the stalls. It's still 5%, but it's a dark green 5%, which is good. I think that's fine for the time being. We still have space for a couple more stalls as we unlock them, I think. That might be it for now, actually, for the food stalls, which is okay. We have 5 spare workers, which is good, and we are more than halfway to filling up the required population for the next size village. What we do need to do is think about where we're going to start placing houses next, and I think we're going to start moving this path along here and filling in this space here with some more houses that can back on to these gardens. I think that would look nice. So we'll have a house here, actually. I've placed that house, so that's fine now, but we're going to continue this path, and it's going to fork. So Some of it's going to go up there. The rest of it's going to go along here. We're going to try and get in as many houses as we can. While we loop the path around next to this house. Meet up with our water here. And I am going to move this tree out of the way. It's decided to grow in the road, which isn't very good. But I think the rest are okay. Lightly move it off the concrete, the tarmac. That's better. Now we have a nice road going all the way around here. We can start placing... in fact, we can't place too many houses because I've run out of cash. That's something that you really have to keep your eye on, especially in the early game. But to help with that, we're going to start filling up some houses with our remaining families. So they're all moving in. Work decorations dropped to 4 again, interestingly, even though I believe most of the traits drop the more people that move in and the more needs you have to deal with. That's okay. I've probably spent a lot of money on decorations too, which is another thing. But again, the beauty of this game is you can just briefly speed up the game and you'll see that money and research starts ticking up a lot faster. That's grown our income a little bit, but what we need to do is keep moving people in now where we can. So we have a plus 20% here, and we have a plus 20% over here. So straight away, we've almost doubled our monetary income here, so that should fill it up a lot quicker, which is fantastic. While we're waiting for that to do its thing, we can actually buy the next upgrade for the food stalls, which is greater reach. So they have double range, which means that their influence will travel twice as far as it did before and catch a lot more houses. I think if we were to look at it now, you can see the food is only reaching these 5 houses, which is bad. But when we buy greater reach, you can see it has gone a lot further, but we now need to fill it with people. In fact, it's still not reaching these houses, interestingly, so we might have to deal with that at a later point. That's quite as simple as creating another small area where we can put a couple of food stalls on this side of town so they don't have so far to travel. That has improved our happiness rate from 92 up to 98%, which is a huge boost. And don't worry, they're not going to starve. There's no starvation in the game. Everyone is just very chill, very happy to just be doing whatever they want, basically. Now we have enough money for another house. You might have noticed as well, I haven't used any of these houses, and it's because I'm going for a much more country vibe. I really like the thatched roof houses here, so I've sort of been focusing on them. And another thing, you can tab through them by pressing C, or you can keep them on random. Let's put that one there. Do a little road to the house. Now, interestingly, these people are going to want to live near food shops, which I think that's going to be, yes, that's way too far away from a food place. Even though it's only here, they're a little bit short in the leg, the inhabitants of this town. They don't want to walk too far to get their food, so they're quite needy in that sense. But what we could do is in the center here maybe have a smaller food area. That might be a good idea. Might be a good shout. So we're gonna use our plaza, just make a much smaller circle than we had before. And that joins up to the road. And then we can put in a second poultry stall. I think I'm going to have it placed on the concrete. Second cheese stall. And if we can fit it in a vegetable stall. There we go. And what they're probably... I'm going to try and put people on it without the need of another warehouse, but we might need to build a new warehouse. Yes, we do. And the reason being is this warehouse is far too far away from the shops. So we need to add a little commercial small warehouse. Except we can't because we don't have the money. Not yet. But that can be easily remedied. A little speed up. And then once we hit 100, we can plop another small warehouse down there. We have another family that wants to move into a flower-surrounded house. Yeah, you can see here the warehouse is placed very far away from the station. Consider placing it closer for more efficient transport routes. So, we're just about to hit 100, which is great because we can plop this down right there, and that will service our 3 little stalls here as soon as we add workers. There we go. Everyone's much happier now. Our happiness has bumped up to 19%. We've actually got our food from 8% up to 18% happiness, which is just fantastic. These should now be servicing, these houses here. Still can't reach. They still don't reach the only other house that we couldn't get to. So what I might do here is a bit of a do-over and have a little path coming through here so they can actually reach their food. So let's make our way through here. We're going to do regular path. Going to be a small windy path. It goes directly to the plaza. They're really lucky actually that they get that. What we do need to do is just slightly move that out of the way. We can put our fence back in for this house. Now this house unfortunately has lost some real estate, but they're not going to complain, so I'm not going to complain. They still have a nice garden that they can sit in, and they still have a really, really good spot on the lake. So that's fine. And then these guys have their big garden. The perk is that they can reach the food a lot better, and that has actually got us to 100% happiness, which is really, really good. And you can see now all of the houses are being hit by these food stalls. One last thing I want to do is just try and get some of these people living here. What I might do, just for the time being, we can have a couple of close together houses here that would have developed because of the market. So it's kind of a small little business hub area. Maybe the people that run the markets would actually live here. So these guys that we're about to move in, now that we've built some houses right next to a food stall, are going to be really happy. And then all we need to do down here is just add some more flower decorations to this house. We're going to make this a sunflower house. I think that's going to be nice. A couple of tables. 19%, so close. They're even going to have some sunflower bushes in the garden, look. Let's just rotate it for a bit of variety. We can have sunflowers going all the way. Front door. And we're going to put them in there. And we are extremely close. We need one more townsfolk to upgrade our village to the next size. And that couldn't have come at a better time. It's going to be right at the end of the episode. So now that we've done all of that, our research is nearly full too. So next time, we'll take a look at that. But for the time being, we're going to try and move in one last family. I'm going to dismiss those because I'm not building a farm. We don't have any houses near a cliff just yet, so hopefully some more people will come in soon that we can move in. We're so close to greatness, I'd hate to leave it until the next episode. We've actually researched everything we can at this level too, so we really do need that extra research. Here comes the train. And it's brought us a family that would like to move in to a house with a lot of nature decorations. So, great news for this house here. They're about to get a lovely back garden forest. And what I'm going to do next time is slightly move those trees around, and we'll create a nice little nature path that they can then go on a coastal walk. I think that'd be really good for that house. I think they would love that. But in the meantime, we're going to move them in, and we can upgrade our town to the next stage. So, as the final part of this video, enjoy the upgrade of the town to... I don't know what it is after dwelling, but enjoy the next size upgrade to the town. Thank you so much for watching. Next time we will continue our expansion. I hope to see you there. Please like and subscribe if you like the content, so you can stay up to date when the new one comes out. I'm looking at Thursdays and Sundays for release of these big videos, so the next one will be Sunday. I hope to see you there. Until next time, bye bye.